to another episode of CRE, The Unspoken Truth. I'm Charlie Coppola, joined with our CEO and my father, Craig. Today, our
Co-founders, let's
co-founder,
go.
CEO, whatever you want. Yep. Dad,
Yeah.
the topic today is the value of clean data in your career or for your career. We preach this, we talk about it, every day at One Source. You've lived it.
Yep.
You guys have a badass database for your team and get a ton of value from it. So, talk me through, like, what does this mean for you, and like how have you approached data and clean data in your career for your team, in brokerage?
So I didn't realize this until I was preparing for this webinar or this
Podcast.
podcast, that the reason I probably got into data really early is because I was a baseball player. And there isn't a sport that doesn't track more things than baseball. And so growing up, that was just important. How many two, we didn't have a lot of data when I was playing back in the early 80s, but we had enough data to kind of say, like I look at my stats and anybody can go online and look at my minor league stats and I can see why I got released, but I can also see why they should have kept me. I led the league, the Appalachian League in 1983 in doubles and triples, I think, and I still got released. Well, I got released because I hit 240 or something. And so data is exactly what you make it. So I started doing data right away as a broker. How many deals did I do? How many deals did I have my transaction? We call it TIP, transactions in process. How many deals in my TIP did I need to have to close a certain amount of deals? And then what did that bring? So I was checking data out from the very first time, and I'm shocked today at how many people don't track that. We have this origin story. We had a broker that I work with, and you go, "Hey, how do you know if you're going to have a good year?" And he reaches down into his drawer and he opens it up and goes, he sees these hard files and he goes, "Yeah, it looks like a pretty good deal to me." That's the tracking. But me, on the other hand, we're tracking all kinds of stuff,
Yeah.
and we've said this a lot over the last 5 years. The more we track, the better we are. And I totally believe that as a broker. And really, which is the shocking thing, we built DealView first. That was our first product. And the reason we did it is because I was assured that every broker wanted the data that I wanted, and we'd be able to kind of slice and dice it. And that's what DealView does so well. And we were shocked at how many people didn't really do that.
Yeah, when you say, the more we track, the better we feel, the better we get in that area of the business. I call it immersing ourselves. And I was like, if I'm not immersed in that problem or that section of my business, that includes understanding all our strengths and weaknesses. That includes understanding our trends with the data and what numbers what are the three key numbers we have to hit this goal. Like, I got to immerse myself in it, and data is a huge piece of that. All the numbers, all the statistics around it. So you and I are totally like-minded in the sense of, we love tracking things and it makes us feel better and understand the business better.
So what does DealView cost a month?
$50
50
per
bucks
license.
for
Yeah.
50 bucks a month, a broker can have all in a little bit of input of what they're doing, can have all the data they want on their transactions. Now, what they can't have is a good database, right? So let's talk about, so one of the things that let me just throw this out. This is a takeaway for everybody. And why do you track data? So there's a continuum. We call it the Holy Grail. There's a continuum. It starts with data. And data is just raw numbers. You're just collecting numbers and you're doing a bunch, which, that takes a little bit of time to get data. And what happens when you take data and then you turn it into something, a report or something, which is what we do at DealView, that turns it into information. So data unorganized is simply data. Data organized becomes information. When you can organize that information and then slice and dice it, which is what DealView does, then you go to the next level, and the next level is knowledge. And knowledge you can do execution off of knowledge, right? So data, information, knowledge, and now you can start making decisions. How many deals did I get from the country club? Is this a worth? Like we track how many deals we get SIOR, how many deals we get CRE, how many deals CCIM. Are those worth going to? We send guys to the CCIM conference. Did we get any deals off of those 5 years? No. We're not going back to CCIM. Did we get deals off of SIOR? Yes. Boom. Do we get deals off of going to lead conferences? Yes. Boom. We're going to those. So that deal view creates information and knowledge. And then the fourth thing that comes out of having knowledge is wisdom. And that's where the real money is made. But you can't get to wisdom. You can get the wisdom in your mind, but it's not real wisdom. You got to get the data, information,
Fact.
knowledge. That's right.
We say this too, right? Like, you data tells you the truth.
Right.
And you can't improve if you don't know what the truth is, and data tells you the truth. So it's like, look at the numbers, it's objective, start there. And then, I love your continuum there. That leads to, knowledge and ultimately wisdom.
So we had this database, and I had this black hole, which is, our database of tracking people. They're always moving, and things happen. And so we hired a full-time database manager 7 years ago, Mary Hink, and she's been a godsend for us. I mean, I tell Mary all the time, she's the most incredible person on our team. And she does all of our data input. And literally, now we make our calls off of that. So look, I got an email 2 minutes ago. Good morning, Craig. I saw that you recently reached out with things regarding blank. Sorry to report I moved on from last year and since taken a director role with blank, which is a bigger company. We went from a smaller one to a bigger one. As you can imagine, it's busy. I appreciate you reaching out and would enjoy reconnecting. Please let me know when your group might have a time for a chat. So now, literally, without Mary, that call doesn't get made. I'm going to have lunch with the guy. And now I got a chance at a bigger deal. This is now a 30 to 40,000 foot office deal. It's like it's like, boom. I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have known he left.
Yep. It's great. So I say this all the time to brokers, customers, people we're talking to at OneSource, is having clean data that is consistent and thorough is a massive asset for your business. And it only grows in value over time if you're maintaining it and doing it the right way, right? So my pitch to a young broker is start today investing in your data, like track things. Of course, OneSource is the place to help you do that. But if you don't have $50, do it on a spreadsheet and just be clean, right? Just have clean data. The second piece is get it in a system, right? OneSource that helps you act on it and keep it up to date. And then, build those, standards for yourself in cleanliness, thoroughness for the data, because over 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's only going to help you more and more.
Yeah, when you say clean data, what you're saying is you're going down the continuum. Data, how many times have we brought a broker and he's got 50 tabs on his Excel spreadsheet of different things he's created?
Well, he'll have, column C will be the person's name, dash company, and mobile phone all in one cell. And then, the very next row will be the name, and then the next column will be the company name, and the next so it's just not clean at all.
Well, clean data, what you're really saying with clean data is you're talking about the continuum. Yep. Data alone is just data. Yep. Knowledge is clean data. Information is clean data. Knowledge is when you can execute and act on it, which is why we built DealView. It is insanely, and every broker who listens to this should be on DealView, and they should put their deals in there because you're getting information out of your deals that you would never get. And I'm not, this isn't a podcast where we sell OneSource, but I think about this all the time. I think about this is driven. These are the things that how do you become a top producer? You do things right. You do things in a way.
You do the little things don't. Well.
That's right. You may have a database that you track shit on, but you don't have our database. Why is Capola Cheney the #1 office producing team ever in the history of Lee & Associates? Because we have good data is one of the reasons. And we hired Mary, and I spent $300,000 over the last 5 years making sure Mary keeps our data clean. Why do we do that? Because it's valuable to us. I get this email right here, and that's worth it to me. I can make that on the deal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Why do you think brokers, and we see it all the time, resist entering data or maintaining their database um, when they know, and I do think a lot of them know it will benefit them later on.
well, the easy answer is you think they're lazy. That's what you would say on the outside, but that's not the truth. The truth is it's outside their unique ability. Brokers have a unique ability. They want to be in front of people. They want to be negotiating deals. They want to that's why they get in the business. They don't get in the business to be a data entry person.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why we built OneSource. So it's so easy for the broker to go in there. It's like, yes, we understand. And over the next year, it's going to be a lot easier as AI comes into play. But the reality is how can I minimize the time for data entry? Because that's not where I'm really good. And so, yes, there's things we have to do. We call it veggies and dessert at OneSource. You have to do veggies is getting your data in there so you can get information and knowledge out of it.
Yeah.
That's just the veggies. And then the dessert is, damn, I get to call this guy. Now I get to go have lunch with him. That's a big win. I haven't talked to the guy in 2 or 3 years, and now I got a shot at maybe making it or getting a business from him.
So that's a great outcome of having good data. Let's talk about more of those. Clean data enables what? And I'll list one or two, and you list a couple more. One is your example where you made the call, and therefore now you have an opportunity to have lunch with someone, which could lead to a deal. The second thing I would say, it enables you. I mean, all the little things in a business. A marketing newsletter is so much more powerful with good data and good segmentation. A call list, you can be way more effective for the time spent making calls when you have a little bit of information on that person's personal life or their business or whatever it is. What else?
So to kind of add to your point, so we have 4 levels of brokers on our team. Me at 40 plus years, Andrew at 23 years, Greg at 15 years, Nick at 5. And then we have runners who are new. The amount of on my calls, my 30 to 50 a month that I make, that's really clean data, right? People I've been calling for a long time. I know information on them. I've done research on them. And then the runner calls is like, hey, we don't really know who this is, but this is somebody we canvassed, and then we just making a cold call. The amount of business now, I get way more business because they're just making dialing for dollars. So that's just the difference. If you could start, to your point, if you could start early and have clean data, then it compounds over time.
Part of their calls is to clean their data. I mean, it's
that's right.
They're getting
cleaning
better
the data for us.
better
They're elevating
information.
us.
Yeah.
The second piece is, look, the hardest part of our business is the first 5 years of our business. Why is that? Because you start from zero. You're trying to learn the market. You're trying to get some clients. Damned if they don't follow up with their clients. Even your clients you do business with, there might be a friend or two, but once you do 100 deals, you're not remembering to call Charlie that you did his deal at OneSource and it's coming up in the next 6 months. The data keeps your clients front and center. I'm literally having lunch today with somebody I've never done business with, but because I've been cold calling him, we're having lunch today. And he's got a shot. I mean, the guy has 15 business. You know who it is, and we'll talk about it after this. But it's like because I had clean data and I called him. I'm having lunch with him today. If I didn't do that, I would have never get to him. And so this is the level of your level of how good you're going to be is equivalent to how good you do everything. And it starts with how clean your data is.
Yeah. And I'll be very specific. I think the data points that matter are names, companies, mobile phones, email, and then
lease
the
expiration,
next, right? Then the next level is like deal information, right? So their location, their lease expiration, their size, how big is the deal? Then there's
the one that I'm going to add one in yours is how do I know this guy?
The next I was going to say is the personal, like What's the history of the relationship? We call it a tingly, Lipsy calls it a bridge. What's your connection with that person? And hopefully you have more than one, right? Ideally you have
Yep.
5 or 10,
Yep.
and because then you're just building a better relationship.
I used to
Um,
track, where they used to be. So I'd call somebody and I go, Charlie, you know, I remember talking to you when you were one source was working out of your dad's home office where I am now. And then you guys took office space over at 32nd and Camelback, and you were there in the United Way space. And then finally now you're at Arizona AZFCU space. And I've been training you a long time. I'd love to meet with you. That pitch is only because I had clean data. And people were like, this guy's been in the market. He knows all about me. I got a lot of meetings and a lot of business because I just simply tracked where they were. And they knew that when I said that, and then I could say, I know over at AZFCU, there's only a couple tenants. It's their operations center and they've got the Club 100 in there.
yeah,
And I think they just added somebody, the school nonprofit.
teacher,
How
million
lovely.
dollar teacher or
Yeah,
something.
million
Yep.
dollar teacher. Who is that? But then now I've got the conversation as opposed to, hey, Charlie, where are you guys now? What office space? What are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah.
That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
That's clean data. That's clean data adding value to your business.
So, so some of the, and to this point, this episode, this podcast is focused on, um, really, I would say, the blocking and tackling of business, brokerage, plus, the human side of it, of how do you leverage good data to be a great broker. I want to spend a couple minutes talking about the future with AI and how data really adds and enables, magic with AI, or uh, makes it, if you have bad data, like the
You're not gonna
complexity
do it.
will scale, right?
Yeah. So real quick, I want to get back and answer
Sure.
your question. Is like, how do brokers do this? Well, one, today, because this will lead us into AI. Today, you do the data entry, and you might suck at it, so you've created stuff. Today, you can do the data entry yourself. We've created a system that's super easy to do that. That's as easy as you're going to get. The second thing is you can hire somebody to be your assistant or an offshore assistant that does it. I know a lot of brokers that have a Filipino assistant that's doing all their data entry and they're cleaning it up for them. That business is going away, and what's going to happen is AI is going to take over that business, and our business right now is going to change so that you're going to be able to use AI to track your data and make it cleaner. Now, and this is the biggest point, and you're going to be able to talk more to this than I am. If you don't have clean data to start,
Yep.
you're going to have shit data coming out of it on AI.
The,
AI is not going to
the,
help you.
the, yeah, the number one thing we are telling brokers today is, look, the AI world is in its infancy. It's the Wild West still.
Yep.
I saw a stat the other day. 6 months ago, there was a new frontier AI model every 47 days. Today, there's a new frontier model every 11 days. And so it is changing so fast, and it's still in its infancy. So over the next year or two or three, a lot of the best practices, a lot of the, this stuff is being figured out today and innovated on today. So what we are telling brokers today is to be prepared and to really get the best out of the AI era. Number one, and if you're not here already, get here as fast as you can. You have to have clean data.
Yeah, get on one source right now. It's cheap and
Yep.
it's easy to do. Look, I saw a stat on your white paper, one of your white papers. 90% of all AI initiatives are failed right now. 90+%. Why is that? Because it sounds so good, and you get in there and it gives you a rough draft, then you start trying to execute off of it. Like
The,
I know we can execute off of our calls. I know
yep.
that we can. I
The,
literally have my call sheet right over here because we print it out because I'm old school. Print out my call sheet. I make calls off of that. I know that's going to work. That's going to change. AI is going to change that, but we have clean data so that we can do this.
so the second thing I've been saying a lot lately is the quality of AI is 100% dependent on the quality of the data and the quality of the workflow that the AI sits on top of.
Right.
And so today, right, a massive investment in your workflow and in your data, making sure that if it's not clear to you, it sure as hell is not clear to the AI. And so you better have good, data, good workflow, and that's when AI is going to be really successful.
We've told Mary this. AI is going to eliminate Mary's job, right? She's been 6, 7 years with us. She's so valuable in this that we've created other stuff that she'll do with us. But the AI is going to eliminate. The reason we have clean data is because I spend $60,000 a year on clean data. A lot of brokers just aren't willing to do that. I'm willing to do that because I see the value in it. AI is going to eliminate that position, and for $5,000 a year or so, you're going to be able to have Mary, your own database manager, but you're going to, that's a year from now. It's going to be one source. It's not going to be you building it
Yep.
in Claude because it's not going to freaking work. Because we've seen,
Well,
we know what
here,
AI, we're starting to learn what it's good for, what it's not good for.
and here's how the innovation is going to go, right? Today, it's LLMs, Claude, ChatGPT are fighting for market share, and we've already seen, right? These models are really good and really capable, and the government has already started to intervene. And so there is going to be a point in the next year where this stuff, it gets really good, and then the innovation on the models is going to be limited. The second level of innovation is on all the tooling, workflows, best practices. A lot of that started, but there's still a lot more to come. And it's how do you use these models to get what you want? And the third level of innovation is going to be in niche companies, niche industries, which is commercial real estate, Series 1 source. And so we are actively every single day watching the innovation and working on our own. And I'll share one small pitch. A huge, because AI and because software and all this stuff is going to be better off with clean data and clean workflow, and the quality of AI is going to be more effective. A huge initiative of ours over the next 12 months is how do we get brokers out of the data input, because we know that is leading to bad data
or no data
or no data. And so, you will see as a OneSource customer, if you're watching our product, you will see massive improvements over the next year on getting brokers out of the data input because it's not dependable. And then from that, the effectiveness of AI on the clean data and the complete data is the scale that brokers will have. So
look, it's always been the top producing brokers have this, and we see it on the capital market side and the triple net lease side. Those folks have to have really clean data because they're selling into the marketplace all the time. They can't just willy-nilly it all the time. On the leasing side, you didn't have to have it because you could just go out on, go to dinner and run into somebody. But the table stakes,
yeah,
the table stakes in 2027 and beyond is going to be clean data, enhanced by AI. And we're going to be the leader of that. We're going to win that battle. So people ought to get on board now, start cleaning their data up in the next 6 months, and then they're going to have this incremental leap as AI comes in for it. And they're going to say they're not going to need Mary, but they're going to have the equivalent of a Mary there. And that Mary is so valuable to us. That's $60,000 a year job that they're going to just be able to make a ton of money off of.
Yeah. The last thing I've been saying a lot lately, right? We talk about Mary, and you've said, hey, AI will eliminate these functions or this job, and we're going to have to move you to other areas, right? So the future is robots and relationships. It's AI and people. And to me, I see the AI era as super empowering for humans because we get to do more and more and more of what we were made to do and not input a bunch of data. And so, there's a quote where it's
every single broker in the world that's successful got into brokerage because they want to hang out and be with people.
Yeah.
It's going to affect our business way more than other businesses like accounting and all those other businesses operation. We got in the business because we want to be out, we want to be negotiating deals, we want to be touring, we want to be selling, and that's all we want to do. AI is going to make good brokers just really get into their unique ability, and OneSource is going to be on the forefront of that, and we already are on the forefront of it. Yeah. And it's going to be something that you can depend on. Right now, people can't depend on it. It's not there yet. And so we're creating that. And when we have the mass, the number of people on it, we can do that. but it is for niche markets in commercial real estate, it's going to be a huge win.
Yep.
Huge win.
There's a quote, and it's, "I am me, and I hope to become more of me."
Me.
And to me, right, I am not me when I'm doing data input. Brokers are not their best version of themselves when they're doing data input. And so, I view this as exciting, and brokers going to get to spend more time with their clients on the phone, out in the field, negotiating deals. And that's what they want. That's what the majority of brokers are excited to do. And so we're excited to shepherd in some of that and help lead the way towards that
It's
future.
it's not just data input, it's going to be workflow management, all that other good stuff. But the idea right now is, look, if we're giving a takeaway on this, maybe we should rename this, Charlie, to the
Yeah.
data continuum. But the idea right now is get your data cleaned up so you can get some information, then turn that into knowledge. That's DealView today. It's live. We've got a couple thousand brokers on it. Wisdom's going to come in when you're going to be able to ask AI to kind of do different things with it.
Yeah.
And that is incredible. And it's around the corner. I mean, around the corner being 2027.
Yep. Yep. Clean data is the fuel for AI. And so, if we started by naming this the episode of, clean data and the value and the asset of clean data for brokerage, I love your name, the continuum of data, because it's just the fuel. It's just the beginning for where the world's headed. And it's a fascinating topic, but, really important, I think.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep. Have a great one. Thanks.
Okay.